There it is.
We exist on the internet.
Live and recording.
Congratulations, everybody.
6 seconds in.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing great.
I think we're done.
Okay.
Yep.
Good seeing
show.
you, Greg.
Thanks, everybody. Yep.
I'll see you next week.
This is what CJ gets for not being here. I could change the name on this, but I don't care. I don't want to. Listen.
Change what name?
On the upper left here, there's a...
where it says
Phil,
TJ?
I'm waving my pointer around on it. Can't you see it?
No, I can't. I don't see.
Brutal.
I cannot see your cursor.
We're gonna wait 1 sec because I can hear my son coming downstairs.
Oh, good. My son.
I'm out of focus again for some reason.
You are. My son is not here right now.
No,
he is.
She finally took him, huh?
What's that?
She finally took him.
Oh my goodness, they should both be so lucky. He's at a friend's birthday party at the moment.
Nice.
So he may be bursting through the door at some point in the near future.
Sorry, hang on.
Oh yeah.
All right, now we can start. He's at a birthday party. That's nice. It's nice to know he has friends that invite him to things.
His friend, you know where they're at? You know what they're doing for this birthday party?
I don't, but I hope you do.
I don't. I was hoping you did. I don't know where my son is. They are indoor skydiving.
Cool.
I know, right?
That's awesome.
He's been wanting to do that for quite some time.
And his parents aren't cool enough to take him?
That is absolutely true. So now he's off there with his friends doing that. So
I'm
assuming it's going well.
Well, if the hospital hasn't called.
We had to sign some waivers beforehand.
Well, I imagine you did.
Oh, we definitely did. But yeah, we haven't heard anything, so either it's going well or it's going horribly wrong.
So horribly that no one has a chance to call you. All right. Here we go. Hello and welcome to episode 910 of the Player One podcast for Tuesday, May 7th, 2024. I'm your host, Greg Stewart. With me, as always, from the West Coast. I don't want to tell people where you live. That's private information.
Well, it's the great state of Washington.
There you go.
We know that. That info's out there. Hi.
Who bothered to show up this week, unlike our
I'll tell you what,
host from the West Coast.
The CJ seems less and less involved in this show.
I know.
He's been turning duties more often over to us, and by us I mean you. So
I think we should check the bank account. I'm wondering what's paying for these trips.
Did he just drain it?
I don't know.
Was this a planned trip?
I mean, he sprung it on us at the last minute.
Right? I didn't think it was like a, oh, hey, in a couple of weeks I'm not going to be here. It was very much a, I'm not going to be here. Yeah. Like tomorrow. Good luck, lads.
Dear suckers.
Yeah.
Anyway, how you doing?
Oh, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm fine. How are you?
Thinking about doing some indoor skydiving.
You should.
I don't think they have
I've heard it's all the rage. You have a birthday coming up. You might consider a party there.
That's right.
Hey, you know what?
29 again. What?
For the 30th time in a row.
29th time in a row.
Oh, whatever. I got a little something here that I think you would enjoy or appreciate.
I know. I was going to ask because I see there's an open cardboard box back there.
Oh, so yeah,
there was some kind of shipment.
Oh, geez, something fell. That's my new box from Big Bad Toy Store. Arrived. So I got a few things, but this is the thing that specifically you will be interested in. Look at this. You're familiar with that.
What's that?
That is a Tomica. I don't know. Tomica. It's like a Hot Wheels brand, It's a Takara Tomy. I'm holding up a box for those people listening. With Macross, it's a Macross thing. It's a Valkyrie.
So just a little like die cast?
Yeah, it is a little die cast. It's on a stand here.
Cool.
And it's a little, and it pops, pops off. Whoop. So you can swish it around. This is, it's about the size of like a Hot Wheel car, and it's all metal. Oh, it's not all metal. There's plastic in there as well, but
doesn't transform, I assume.
This one does no. This does not transform. It is the functionality of a Hot Wheels vehicle. This is who I don't know my Macross. I know
who's on the cover. That's Rick Hunter.
What's that?
That's Rick Hunter on the cover.
That's Rick. Yeah, I know Rick.
Yeah.
But this is not Rick's Valkyrie, is it?
Yeah, it is.
Is it the red one?
Yep. He flew the red one up until spoiler alert, I guess. This 40-year-old show.
Yeah.
Until Roy Fokker died, and then he took over the black and yellow.
Okay.
Skull one.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
They have, these are available. There's the red one, the yellow one, and the blue one, I believe.
Yep. Max and Ben.
Okay. And you know why I bought the red one?
Because it looks like Jetfire?
Because it is Jetfire.
Yeah.
So,
for people who don't know that, when the Jetfire toy first hit North America, it wasn't exactly that scheme. It was a slight repaint of the red Valkyrie from Macross.
Right.
But then when he started appearing in the TV show, he didn't look anything like the red Valkyrie.
No, he did not
at all. And years later, when we were all old enough to realize what had happened, it was part of the long and ridiculous fight over licensing rights and merchandising rights for Macross in North America and Harmony Gold and all those different companies. That is the reason why Macross, or I should say Robotech, board games are always being released fast and furious, and anything else you can think of, comic books, any merchandise. The whole reason that is happening is so that Harmony Gold can keep the licensing rights to the North American licensing. I think it's everywhere in the world except Japan, actually.
That's probably correct. Yeah.
So, but yeah, because of course Transformers was a collection of various toy lines, not just one toy line. And
Diaclone and Micro Change and weird little outliers like Skylinks was a whole other different toy line.
And the name Robotech actually comes from another toy line that existed before they brought Macross here.
Is that right?
Yep. I actually when I start my Twitch broadcasts, I always have a little collection of commercials that plays randomly, old toy commercials and old video game commercials, which is kind of fun to go back and see that. And I knew about this because of Toy Galaxy, or Secret Galaxy, I think it's called now.
Oh yeah.
Who've done an actually comedic amount of Robotech history and Macross history videos. And they know it too. I mean, it's a running gag on their channel. Go watch that channel, by the way. It's fantastic.
It is.
But anyway, so previous to them, I think the way it worked is previous to Harmony Gold licensing the broadcast rights for Macross to become part of, what ended up being Robotech in North America. Another company, I don't want to say it was Mattel, but I'm not sure, had licensed a bunch of Japanese robot toys and was releasing a line here called Robotech. And I believe it was the one of the Destroids from Macross was part of that line. So there was like a whole legal thing that happened there where they wanted to, I think they ended up getting into a partnership because Mattel is the company that released all the Robotech toys here after the series came out, I think. And anyway, they kept the name. They decided to keep the name Robotech.
Oh, okay.
They liked the name. And it's weird because like watching that commercial, like it's the same logo. They didn't even change the logo treatment. It's Robotech. Funny. So I've been rewatching that series actually lately. I'm almost through the Macross saga, which is the good one, but I'm going to watch the whole thing. So
nice.
And actually this coming weekend, Saturday, whatever Saturday is,
like next Saturday.
Yeah, that'll be what, the 11th?
Probably.
Is the day that E3 2004 kicked off, May
Oh.
11th, and that was the year that Robotech Invasion was at E3, which was the first game I ever worked on.
Oh my goodness.
Yep.
There it is.
It's all coming back around.
It's a
We just went
grand
full circle.
Yep. And that game's getting some sort of a big remaster for the occasion?
No.
Oh.
Sucks.
Never mind.
I mean, the game doesn't suck. It's not great either, but
Hell.
Didn't suck.
Good.
But that's pretty cool. I have a little die-cast Valkyrie as well that actually Crispin Boyer gave me. I forget why. I don't know if it was like a Christmas thing or yeah, it's smaller than that one, but it's in a nice little case.
So, very nice.
Yeah. Big road.
Yeah, well, you know what this was? Actually, this was not from Big Bad. This was from Hobby Link Japan.
Okay.
And you know, Hobby Link Japan, it's based in Japan. So you're paying a fair amount for shipping.
Mm-hmm.
So usually when I
live
order
in Canada,
something,
we pay a fair amount of shipping for everything.
Well, that's actually true, yeah. But you know, here as a U.S. citizen, I'm not used to paying a lot for shipping. Yeah. So when I am
freedom,
well, that's just it, right?
Yeah.
And so when I'm ordering something from Hobby Link Japan, I will maybe throw a few more things in the box just to offset the shipping cost.
Sting a little less.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this was one of the
This
was one of the little things I found. So I was like, okay, I'll spend. I mean, this was probably $7 or $8. You know, not much.
An iconic.
Here we go.
Vehicle from an iconic anime series.
Absolutely.
Listen, let's look at some news. CJ left us some news on the outline. He did. And we're going to start right at the top here. Apparently, the ESRB, I believe, there is an ESRB rating out there.
Electrostatic robotic buttocks.
That's exactly it. Established in the mid-90s. For a title called Nintendo World Championships NES Edition.
I saw this.
The Switch.
Yeah.
So
nobody really knows what it is, though, right?
No, the scuttlebutt is, and it's funny because on the internet you never know how much of this is real and how much of this is wishful thinking on the part of the people reporting it. But the thinking is that this is might be a remake of the Nintendo World Championships 1990 game cartridge, which of course that was I'm going to look here. Actually, no, there is a description. According to the description from the rating,
there were 3 games in it.
Yep, is a collection of 2D challenges and platformer games in which players traverse through various modes, speedrun, survival, etc. Several challenges involve reaching specific points, while others prompt players to defeat small enemies or survive brief battles. Some games depict pixelated characters using small swords or arrows to strike at enemies. Enemies typically get stunned or disappear in a flash. So, of course, the Nintendo World Championships was a tournament. I think it was a nationwide tournament.
It was.
Took place in 1990 in the United States.
I attended it.
Did you really?
Thank you.
Nice. Did you compete?
I did not compete in it. My buddy who I went there with competed in it. He did not win.
No. So he wasn't. He didn't win the part of the wizard.
No.
No.
He was not allowed up. Well, this actually I think it predated.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, Wizard. Yeah. But yeah, that was my buddy Jim, who actually did win a couple video game tournaments that we attended back in the day.
He's the one who won a Turbo Express.
Yes, indeed, he is.
Yeah, I pay attention to these stories.
Yeah, no, he won a whole big Turbo Graphics. Like he got the Turbo Graphics. He got the CD. He got a whole bunch of games. He got a brand new NEC television.
Nice.
As part of it. Yeah, it was pretty outstanding. But no, he did not win the Nintendo World Championship. I did not bother competing because I knew I wouldn't win.
And what you could do, how you competed was there was a special cartridge made that featured different, I'll say levels, challenges is what they call them here, for Super Mario Brothers, Rad Racer, and Tetris. Yep. And you didn't choose which one you were going to do. It was, it was a linear from start to finish. I think it started with Mario.
Yep.
And you had to do, I don't know if it was just complete a level, get to a certain score.
If I remember correctly, and this I could be completely wrong, but if I remember correctly, you started off with Mario, and I think maybe the first challenge was like to collect X number of coins, like 50 coins or 100 coins.
That makes sense.
And then once you did that, I believe it went straight to Rad Racer.
Yep.
And you had to just like compete like one race as quickly as you could.
Mm-hmm.
And then it goes to Tetris, and then basically, because the whole contest was timed.
Right.
And I forget if it was like...
Yeah, so the idea was to finish it in the least amount of time, I think.
Yeah, and then because once you got to Tetris, you basically just played out the clock to try to get as high a score as possible.
Right.
I believe. Maybe. I've done no research. This is me remembering vaguely things from years ago.
So this was not this was a thing that wasn't just Nintendo. Nintendo, I think, was the first to do it. Although I say that, I mean, Atari ran contests in the 2600 days too, but I doubt they were anything this custom. You know what I mean? I think they were just more like score challenges for specific games. But there was Blockbuster did the same thing with this with Genesis.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And I think maybe Nintendo as well. It was an Acclaim thing though. Like Acclaim's title is actually on the cartridge, but there are Blockbuster World Championship cartridges floating around, usually repros for the Genesis. I forget what was on that, but oh, there it is. It was versions of NBA Jam Tournament Edition and Judge Dredd. That was the second one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. That one did not reach the level of cultural relevance that the Nintendo World Championships.
Yeah. There was a Super Nintendo version from Blockbuster 2, which apparently featured some Donkey Kong Country content.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. There was also the Star Fox weekend.
Right.
Which I did compete in and almost won.
Really?
At my local mall, yeah. Yeah, they were holding it at the KB Toys at the mall.
Mm-hmm.
And I was working at Babbage's at the time, so I took my lunch break and I ran over there.
Nice.
Competed. Got you know what? I'm going to say it. An exceptionally high score.
Yeah.
Okay, because I was good at Star Fox. And this competition was being held.
If it runs at 10 frames a second, Phil is good at it.
Oh, are you kidding? My mind is tuned to that
10
level.
frames per second. Yep.
Absolutely. And I got a very high score. And it held all weekend. I was the top scorer all weekend. But then there was this one jackass.
What would be great is if it was CJ, but keep going.
No, it wasn't CJ. It was some jackass kid who I believe he worked at the arcade at the mall, the Aladdin's Castle.
Mm-hmm. I already don't like him.
And he would come into Babbage's all the time and just stand around and talk with us.
Was it Andy Barron?
No. But he was very determined to beat my high score. And he would like all weekend, he would come into the store multiple times a day to give me updates.
Oh, wow.
Because he was entering multiple times to try and beat my score. And I'm just a couple thousand points short, but I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna beat you. I'm gonna knock you off the leaderboard. I'm just like, okay, buddy, what, you know. But he finally did. He finally did. And he got the Star Fox weekend jacket.
Oh, is that
what was the prize? Stole it from me. Very disappointing.
Dramatic story.
Yeah.
Did you ever look one up on eBay and buy it years later? Or?
You know what? No. Although now I am now.
Now you are. I was going to say.
Now I am.
I saw you put your hand on the mouse.
Yeah. No.
Hey, did you get any video game contests you actually won?
No. I
really.
Oh goodness gracious.
A little expensive, huh?
I mean, it's only like $2,000.
Oh my God.
Well, no, you know what? Here's one for $1,400.
Oh, there. That's reasonable.
Yeah, this one's not
And I'm
too
sure it
bad.
would fit.
Oh, goodness.
Anyway, pretty
Yeah.
cool. I hope that's what this is. I mean, it would be kind of neat for them to release something that was just sort of in the spirit of it too, but it would be really cool if it was an official, Nintendo release of the
Right.
Nintendo World Championship 1990
Well,
cartridge.
here's my hopes. My hopes is that it's more of a NES remix style game that kind of runs the full gamut of NES history.
Sure.
Kind of wrapped around the the sort of theme of the World Championships, but then also within that game have a World Championships mode in there that recreates that. Although, with Tetris being in there,
well, what makes me wonder if it would be. Yeah. You never know. I mean, the Tetris company licenses out Tetris.
They do.
So,
they do.
They don't seem to be, as long as it's going to be handled properly. I can't imagine that they would have a problem with it. So, speaking of which, too, older gamers, oldsters like us, might remember that the Nintendo World Championships 1990 is where Thor Ackerland.
That's right.
Came from. He was one of the winners of the Nintendo World Championships in 1990. I'm on his Wikipedia page, for which he was bestowed a Mario trophy, a $10,000 U.S. savings bond, a 1990 Geo Metro convertible.
Oh my goodness!
Those were just the versions they forgot to put the roofs on, and a 40-inch rear projection television.
Oh my gosh!
And a golden Mario trophy. But the reason why he became infamous, was he soon became a spokesperson for Comerica products.
Yes.
Comerica, of course, was a producer of unlicensed Nintendo games, and also the company that released the Game Genie here in Canada.
Yes.
Which at the time Nintendo was in a heated legal battle to keep the Game Genie from being released by Galoob in the United States. So anyway, Thor Ackerland.
It was an ultimate anime betrayal.
Yep.
When the
really was.
Nintendo World Champion started plugging unlicensed
Comerica games.
Yeah. What's he doing these days?
I just turned off his Wikipedia page, so I don't know. He's aging like us. He's born in 1977. Yeah. So anyway, so that's a thing. Hopefully that's going to be cool. Something else on the list here that I think you're going to be not only more knowledgeable about, but probably more excited about.
What's that?
The Tetris 711 handheld.
Oh, believe you me.
Explain to the listeners.
Okay. So last year, I believe it was last year, 7-Eleven did a collaboration with Namco and produced some Pac-Man Cross 7-Eleven merchandise. I have occasionally worn my Pac-Man 7-Eleven shirt on our show. And they put out a line, it's like, shirts and like cloth bags and stickers and things like that. And this year, they're doing a Tetris collaboration. I have already ordered a shirt. I'll have you know. But more exciting than that is that they are releasing a playable game. They're actually releasing a toy. It is a plastic Slurpee cup with a screen and buttons built into it, so you can now play Tetris on a replica Slurpee cup. And it is currently you can enter a contest if you use like the 7-Eleven app or something and buy specific things. You can enter a contest to win one, or they're going to be selling them through their website. So I will absolutely be buying one the second they are available. It will go perfectly with my Tetris chicken nugget.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Yeah.
In the hot mustard sauce.
In my hot mustard sauce. It's currently over on one of my display cabinets up there. I am looking forward to forming a whole fake meal
of Tetris products.
Of Tetris products. So
need some French fries. Need some sort of side.
Yeah, that's just it, right?
Yeah.
We'll get there someday.
Maybe a dessert.
Some other food chain or restaurant or something will do another Tetris cross promotion.
See, and this is the reason why I feel like it wouldn't be weird for, you know, the Tetris company to license the Nintendo World Championship. Because
that's true.
Definitely not the weirdest thing they're licensing Tetris for. So
they licensed it for a McNugget, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
So but yeah, I'm very excited about the 7-Eleven Tetris Slurpee Cup.
God.
So you will be updated the moment mine arrives.
Oh, I know.
No mistake.
I know.
Yeah.
It is kind of neat. Moving on.
Yeah.
I'm actually a little bit bummed about this.
What's that?
Because I don't own a Quest 3. But this past week, Batman Arkham Shadow was announced for the Quest 3. So it's another VR Batman experience, this time from Camouflage.
Okay.
Makers of the Iron Man VR experience.
Oh, that's right. Previously. They did do that.
Yep. And, you know, the reason I'm a little bit bummed is I don't have a Quest 3.
Right.
I don't really want to buy a Quest 3. But one of my very first VR game experiences was, of course, a Batman game. Because when the PSVR 1 came out, I forget what it was called. Was it just Arkham VR or Batman VR? Or,
yeah, I don't remember what
thing?
I do remember it, but I don't remember what it was called.
But anyway, so it's like, oh, and plus, you know, anything Batman, and of course, anything in the Arkham series. Like, I'm all in on all that, but not all in enough to go buy a Quest 3. And I believe this is being published by Oculus. They own Camouflage, don't they? Or
do they?
Do I have that backwards?
I do not.
I'm not really sure. Either way, I doubt it'll be coming to the PSVR 2.
Probably not.
Yeah, it's being published by Oculus Studios.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Huh.
But the teaser trailer didn't really show much. I mean, if the gameplay is like it is in that trailer, it's going to be vomit-inducing, but I doubt it is what's shown in that trailer. And yes, Camouflage is a subsidiary of Oculus Studios, so it definitely won't be coming to the PSVR.
Is it only coming out on Quest 3 or?
That's what it said. Only on Quest 3.
Not 2, huh?
The teaser. Yep.
Boo.
So yeah, I know.
Oh well.
Like I said, bit of a bummer. But I mean, cool that it's happening. Don't get me wrong, but bit of a bummer.
Yes.
Me. In further news about games that I won't probably play, but this one looks really cute. Q Games. You remember Q Games? I think they did the Pixel Junk.
Oh, yeah.
Series.
Yes.
Has revealed a new it's like a co-op puzzle game from the looks of it called All You Need Is Help.
Okay.
Which it's a multiplayer co-op puzzle game. Where you're just sort of big fluffy. You're not
it's like a mashup of two Beatles songs.
Right?
Yeah.
You're not I forget how to say this properly. Tetraminos. They're not necessarily Tetraminos, but they kind of look like Tetraminos. You play like little soft, fluffy Tetramino pieces.
Okay.
And it just looks like you're doing a series of puzzles. It looks like it's a 4-player game. And like some of them look like they're as simple as trying to figure out how the 4 of you should place yourselves on like a grid so that you cover all of the light blocks or something like that. But then some of them look way more involved than that, like pushing around a ball of yarn or I don't know. There was a lot going on in the trailer. It looks like something you probably really like.
You know what it is? It's like Tangrams.
Yeah.
You ever play Tangrams?
Yep. Yeah. But it's not just that. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
That's where the trailer starts, but then it kind of goes places.
Yeah, I'm watching it now. You know what this looks like to me? This looks like one of those kind of games that I would find really fun for like 15 or 20 minutes and then be like, yeah, okay, I'm sick of this.
Yeah.
Just because it would get to a point where I'd have to start thinking too much.
Who wants to do that?
Exactly. But it looks really cute. Oh, it's going to be on Game Pass.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Microsoft, right? So.
Yeah.
Which again, they probably own Q Games, and I just don't remember that. But
yeah, I'll give that a play though. It looks really cute.
Oh, maybe it is Microsoft. Yeah, it does look really cute, and since it's on Game Pass, it's perfect because you can play it for that 15 minutes, but until you get to the point that you have to think too much, and then put it away, and all you paid was your subscription cost.
Exactly.
And then finally, speaking of Xbox, one more thing here. I feel dirty even bringing this up with CJ not here. Humanity was announced for the Xbox.
That's true.
Past week. I've never played it.
You've never played this game?
I lie. I played it a little bit.
Oh my goodness. I played it quite a bit.
Yeah.
I'll have you know.
You going to play it again on Xbox? CJ's not listening.
Does he listen to the show when he's not on?
No.
Because that game is a big, steaming pile of quality craftsmanship and fantastic level design. Innovation out the wazoo. What a treat.
Yeah.
A masterclass in game design. No, it's a good game. It is a good game. I can't say I'm going to play it again on Xbox because I still need to pick it up for the Quest. Because I want to play it in virtual VR.
Mm-hmm.
So I may not play it again on the Xbox because I'm going to play it on VR. But hooray that it's
you're only one man
out.
So
yeah.
I
but very good news that it's coming out for Xbox, so people there can play it.
All right.
Is it going to be on Game Pass? It is.
Oh, almost definitely. Yeah.
It is. I'm looking at the website.
If only we had someone we knew that could come on the show and tell us.
I know. He's making us do his ads for him now.
Yeah, right? That's why I felt dirty about it.
Yeah. No, I get it.
Anyway, that's all the news. That's all the news that broke this week, and we fixed it. So
Ray.
Yep. Let's move on.
Okay.
To what you've been playing. And Phil.
Yeah.
I see that you finished a game this week.
I did. I finished another game. I'm on a roll.
Wow, that's like 2.
That is 2. I finished Like a Dragon Gaiden.
How many hours?
That one knocking on 40, I believe.
That's not bad.
No, because it's a side story, as the name says.
Like Dragon Gaiden.
Yep. So it is definitely meant to be shorter than the average Like a Dragon or Yakuza game. And I did not completely 100% it. I didn't get my platinum trophy for it.
Embarrassing.
I did leave a few things undone. At one point in the game, you gain access to like a Coliseum battle, and there are many fights you can have in there of varying increased difficulty. And I got up to the highest levels and did a few of them, and then kind of was like, it's starting to get a little too tough now. And there's a couple kind of, high level optional bosses you can fight. That again,
I love optional bosses because that means I don't have to fight them.
Exactly. I fought the first 2 that I were able to beat with minimal frustration. And then I got to the 3rd one, and I think there's 5 total. And I got to the 3rd one, and it's a time limit. You have to, there's like a whole big swarm of enemies, and you have to defeat them all within a time limit. And I was, the couple times I did it, I got the, lost the final guy down to like a sliver of health before I ran out of time.
Ugh.
And I was just like, you know what, it ain't worth it. And I didn't mess around too much with the slot car racing mini game.
That'd be the only thing I'd do.
I mean, it's it's kind of fun, but I was just like, I don't have time for this. So, but I finished it. I finished the story. The game does, of course, crossover. Spoilers, I guess, for Like a Dragon Gaiden. Oh, hi, Winter. How
Winter's
are you?
coming.
One of my cats is here. Are you gonna come up on my lap, or are you just like chilling? You just want scritches here. There we go. But the game does indeed cross over with the Yakuza Like a Dragon game, because there is, of course, a point in that game where you cross paths with playing as Ichiban. You cross paths with Kiryu, and then you end up in the final chapter seeing that battle from Kiryu's perspective.
That's pretty cool.
Which was neat. And it was very I was just very amused because when I got to that part and Ichiban and his crew show up again, I suddenly became very happy, and I was just oh my boy Ichiban. I get to see Ichiban again. What a treat. This game suddenly making me feel a lot happier now that Ichiban's here. So I finished that, and it sets it up. It does kind of segue straight into the next game. So now I will start playing Infinite Wealth, which I took a couple days off. Just kind of.
I'm shocked that you're playing back-to-back Yakuza games. Personally, I shouldn't even say that. Back-to-back any game from any franchise.
That is true.
That's that's not a thing I would do.
That is. Oh, here's my kid. He's home.
Now I say that, and I've been playing nothing but Final Fantasy games all year. So
yeah, exactly. So
yeah.
Hold on a second.
Okay. I don't know what to say here because there's no one else to talk to while Phil's busy.
I'm back. I just had to say hi to my kid.
Okay,
he had a good time
conversation
indoor skydiving,
and he lived.
He did.
So great.
Oh, yes, and he brought in a big box
of cake. I hope.
But no, it's an Amazon thing. There we go.
Okay.
I had to tell him to give the box to Dana. But no, that's just it shows how much I love the Like a Dragon games. The new protagonist, the new crew is wonderful, and the RPG setup works really well for it. So I am very excited to be diving into this new game. So
nice.
Yeah. The other new game I played this week is the new Switch game, Endless Ocean Luminous.
Now, I remember playing Endless Ocean on the Wii, I believe.
Yes, there were two on Wii.
I had no idea what I was supposed to be doing.
Well, because this is for those who don't know, this is an underwater exploration game. This is the third in the series. The series skipped the Wii U.
Mm-hmm.
I've only played a little bit so far. The game does have a story mode. I didn't mess around with the story mode yet.
Okay.
But I did. They have kind of a free dive mode where you're basically just dumped into a big map, and it's just kind of this expansive ocean, and you just swim around and you look for fish and you scan the fish, and it adds it to your little fish database. And I don't know if you recall, but it turns out that I apparently have some kind of crippling fear of the ocean. I don't know if you remember me talking about playing.
Speaking as someone else who has a crippling fear of the ocean, I do remember you
Yeah,
talking about that.
yeah, playing Astrobot
Mm-hmm.
in VR, and there's a couple levels where you go underwater
Mm-hmm.
that set me into a low tier panic.
Mm-hmm.
And like a giant like robot whale comes up and eats you, and I shrieked like a frightened child and collapsed on my couch. So let me tell you, playing Endless Ocean at like
Exploring the vast
midnight,
endlessness of ocean.
yeah, playing it in the middle of the night, everyone's going to bed, and I'm like, oh, I'll go to bed in a minute here, but you know what? I'm going to boot up this game I just got. Let's see
There's
what this
ocean
is
to
like.
explore.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, look at this. I'm swimming around. I'm in the water. I'm looking at some fish. Oh, this is cute. And then you swim a little bit, and then the ground kind of dips down into a little trench. And I'm like, oh, I guess I'll swim down a little bit and see what's here. And then visibility starts to kind of go away, and it gets very, very dark. And you have like a little kind of headlamp or something to sort of illuminate the very, immediate area in front of you. And then all of a sudden there's like a, shark right there with its hideous mouth full of just nightmares. And I was just like, oh, I probably shouldn't be playing this right now or perhaps ever. But it was neat. It was fun. There's I guess this one has like a big multiplayer focus, so you can go online and have a terrifying time with a group of your friends. But yeah, I do want to mess around with the story mode and see what that is. But yeah, as it was though, it just seemed like kind of a fun sort of chill
game.
Yeah, just explore around, and every now and again you'll find like a little like treasure box or something underground, or not underground, but under the water that has little goodies for you in it and stuff like that. But yeah, it seems fun.
Yeah, I don't
Probably
think
more fun if you're not terrified of the endless
ocean,
unexplored depths that are full of monsters.
It's not even the monsters that bother me.
Oh, they're all monsters, Greg.
I did have it reminds me of something my oldest. So yeah, I've mentioned before on this show, but just to recap, we're talking about anxiety when it comes to the ocean. When I was a kid,
right,
I almost drowned.
Yes,
in a vehicle that drove down a hill and into the ocean,
right,
that had my brothers and I in it, and so I've always had a phobia of.
Understandable.
Yeah. So when our kids were born, I was very adamant about how like they're getting into swim lessons like as early as they can. They're going to be,
right.
And my ex-wife was very much, she was really into swimming. She loved going to the beach all the time. She was always in the water every chance she got. So I was like, I want them to be like you in that particular way. Not like me, the kid who would go to like pool parties and not get in the pool.
Right.
So so my kids have been swimming since, again, pretty much since they were born, which isn't weird. I'm saying that like that's an odd thing. That's a normal thing. But my oldest is quite a good swimmer, and we have a lake nearby that has a beach that's has lifeguards. Like the city has lifeguards posted there, and they do swim lessons through the summer for free. So you go up there at a certain time. You're in one of the courses, and they do swim lessons, which is great. So my kids used to do that every summer. And my oldest got to the highest level. And one of the things that they would do to finish the highest level is they would swim across the lake. It's a pretty big lake, and back again. And when she did it, she was the fastest one in her group. So, and my aunt is who used to take the kids up to do this. And she said like, "Oh honey, that was great. You were the fastest one in your group by far. Like that's really awesome." And she pulled her down so she could whisper in her ear, and said, "The reason I'm so fast is because the water's really dark and I don't know what lives down there." So she just wanted to get out as fast as possible. So, anyway.
Hey, whatever motivates you to
Yeah, right.
be your
Like, hey,
best.
yeah, that's exactly
That's
it.
hilarious.
Anyway, cool. Anything else you've been playing?
That's the bulk of like what I've actually been playing. I played a little like Lodge Art Grimoire, and
Mhm.
I did pick up a new I forgot to put this on our list, but I did pick up a new Arcade Archive release this week.
Oh,
It's
I wonder if CJ played the old one yet. By the old one, I mean the one that came out last week.
the lengths CJ seems to go to not have to talk about Newman
I think that's
Athletics.
why he left this week. That's why there was a surprise
Yeah,
trip.
a game that I am increasingly growing suspicious that CJ never actually played or enjoyed, if he's going
Uh,
through such trouble to not be on the show to talk about Newman Athletics with me. Rastan came out
oh, cool.
from Taito.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Rastan Saga, I believe, was its original Japanese title.
Their Conan the Barbarian game, basically.
Yes, and it is boy oh boy. I mean, obviously that game has that sort of Conan the Barbarian aesthetic,
Mhm.
but I forgot, like, on the in the arcade version, when you tossed in your coins, and then it switches from the title screen to a plus press 1 or 2 player start,
Mhm.
and on that screen there's an image of Rastan. I'm assuming Rastan's the character's name.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Okay. There's an image of your character just like sitting on a throne.
Throne. Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say
And
it's
boy,
Conan sitting on the
I mean,
throne.
it just looks, I mean, it looks like Arnold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's very blatantly designed to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger as Conan the Barbarian.
When I did the episode of Generation 16 that covered Rastan Saga 2, because that came out on the Genesis,
Yes.
but the original Rastan Saga came out on the Master System, and it was really well done. It was really well
Oh,
received.
okay.
And anyway, that image, and I don't remember where I saw the image, if it was because I was playing the arcade version or if it was somehow in the Genesis game, but I remember seeing that. It's in the video because of that. It's like,
Yeah.
this is clearly Arnold Schwarzenegger sitting on the throne at the end of, I think, The Destroyer, Conan the Destroyer.
Possibly.
One of the two movies anyway.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
pretty
hilarious.
funny.
But yeah,
Boy, they just didn't care about
oh boy,
licensing
they
rights at all
didn't.
back then, did they?
No. No. We're gonna do loving homages,
Mm-hmm.
i.e., we're just gonna blatantly swipe imagery from your movies or TV shows
Yeah.
to make our game. But you know what? Rastan's a kind of janky old game. The controls are a little stiff. He doesn't quite move or control super well.
Mm-hmm.
But it's have a fun game. It's still a fun little kind of arcade move to the right and slash up a bunch of skeletons and demons kind of game. So
Cool.
yeah, that's it though. What have you been playing?
Honestly, Lugiart Grimoire
Oh, good.
is pretty much the main thing I've been playing. Although I did put some more time into Final Fantasy 3
Excellent.
this week. It had been long enough that I wasn't really sure what I was supposed to do, because that game
Oh,
really goes places. I have a submarine now, and now I have a gigantic ship that
okay.
can fly over mountain ranges. So the original airship, you get an airship in that game almost immediately,
Yeah.
like within the first hour or so, but
Hmm.
it can't fly over mountains. And then when you actually leave the floating island that you're on, at one point the ship actually gets the ability to, well, it can transform into a schooner. It's like a sailboat.
Oh, okay. Now I
Yeah,
understand.
yeah,
Yeah.
and but eventually it can transform into a submarine, which opens
Oh,
up a whole other area of the world.
okay.
But it still can't fly over mountain ranges. So I just got the big ship that flies over mountain ranges, and when you get into battles while you're in that ship, the artillery actually opens fire on the enemies that you have on the screen too, and it's pretty neat, pretty cool.
Nice.
I don't know how close I am to the end of it. The story has really started to branch out and gotten to the point where it's like I feel like I can kind of go anywhere right now.
Yeah.
And the dungeons are starting to get long. Like, and I'm even playing with the boosts on because that's how I'm playing these games. And even with the boosts on, the dungeons are starting to get long. And
Oh,
this
okay.
game is notorious for having a final dungeon that's just like endless.
Really?
So I'm I feel like because that's happening, I must be starting to sort of zero in on the end of the game. But we'll see. We'll see.
Okay.
The other thing that I actually was playing this week, I mentioned last week that I played Strider 1 and 2 on the
Yes.
PlayStation, and sort of capturing footage for some other videos I'm working on, and just sort of loading up the PSIO that I have with games. I did that this week, and of course, I had to go test some of them because you got to make sure
Of
they work.
course.
So the game I decided to test was Bust the Groove,
Oh,
and didn't put it down until I finished it.
I haven't played that game in such a long time.
Me neither.
It's so good though.
It's got a fantastic soundtrack.
Incredible soundtrack. Yes.
Um, which I came to realize as I was playing it, I still remember all the lyrics to all those songs. And also remember, if you remember, like, so Bust a Groove
hmm
is a game by Enix, I believe,
Yep.
and Metro. Metro might have been the music group. And it's a dance off game. It's like a fighting game, but you're dancing. It's a rhythm game.
Right.
So you choose a character, and then you go through level after level where you're again basically doing a dance off with each of these characters. But the characters are extremely well designed,
hmm
and the levels are pretty neat. They change based on how well you're doing and stuff like that. And it's all sort of like a fighting game mentality where you build up your power bar and you can actually attack them and you can avoid attacks and that sort of thing, which I'd forgotten until one of them did it to me during the game. But yeah, it all moves on a beat. So it's like every 4 beats you need to press a button. And as your combo builds, you actually have to input combos on the D-pad before you have to press the button on the 4th beat in that bar. And depending on how well you do, things get really crazy. But when they announce each level, they announce it like a fighting game where it's like I was playing Shorty, the character
Okay.
Shorty, but it's like the announcer will say Shorty versus and then whatever other character is, but the way the announcer says those names is really over the top, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I remembered the inflection on every one of those too. Like when the screens would come up, I would recite it along with the announcer because I knew exactly how he was going to say it. And my kids were in the room for a lot of it, and they thought I was nuts. But I really enjoyed it. God, that was such a good game.
Yeah.
It was a shame about the sequel, but
I didn't think the sequel was bad.
it wasn't as good as the first game. Was the thing.
No, but
So
it's how do you
was
top
there
that?
was there like a freestyle mode in this game? Like, I feel like I always felt like I really liked the game. I could finish the game, but I felt like there was
Yeah.
something there's like some other not mode, but like commands that aren't on the screen that you can
Oh,
do to get them to do different dance animations, and I just never really knew it or was never really good at it.
I don't remember.
But either way,
Yeah.
yeah, I was playing that. But that's really it. That's all I was really playing this week. Working on videos and stuff like that, and my kids' sports schedules are a little bit crazy,
Yeah.
and yeah, so that's it. That's all I got.
Well, all right.
That means
Mm-hmm.
hopefully it's time for social media questions, aka tweets.
Tweedledee-dee-dee-dee. Oh, tweedledee-dee-dee-dee. Social media.
There you go.
I did it.
So we've only got a few of these here, but I did manage to find them this time. So coming from the first one here is from Hacker Alias Schoenfeld 5A. Were you excited about how Jerry told us how wokeness is killing comedy this week?
Oh boy!
Every time I hear it like that, I'm just like, man, you too. Come on. I liked you. I like your show.
Apparently his Pop-Tart movie is pretty bad too.
Well, I kind of expected that would be the case.
Yeah.
Anyway, he asks, not Jerry Seinfeld, Sean here.
Okay.
Asks, what game are you most looking forward to this year?
Oh my gosh.
What game are you most looking forward to this year? Because I'll tell you what, I don't have a whole lot on my list.
What's coming out this year?
Exactly. That's exactly the problem.
That's terrible, right?
I don't know, and it's May.
I'll tell you what I'm looking forward to is starting up Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. That's what I'm looking forward to. Mm-hmm. What's coming out this year?
The thing that I'm most looking forward to in the short term is Paper Mario.
Yeah.
Month. And I love Thousand Year Door. I remember Thousand Year Door was a game I was playing when I first moved to North Carolina for my first game dev job for Robotech Invasion, which I mentioned earlier in this episode. Sorry, just saw something in the chat there. So I'm really excited about that because I thought Thousand Year Door was fantastic. Yeah. I've always really liked the Paper Mario games. So that's cool.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that. But other than that, I don't know. I don't know what else is coming out this year at all.
Yeah, it's like I'm flipping through a list right now. And just like, oh, Star Wars Outlaws. There you go.
Oh, there you go.
That's one I'm definitely looking forward to.
Right. We were talking about it a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. Boy. Yes, Star Wars Outlaws.
Your de facto game of the year?
I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, Paper Mario, sure. Is Star Wars Outlaws.
Exactly. Okay, so there we go. Star Wars Outlaws apparently is the one for Phil.
When's Plucky Squire scheduled to come out?
I have no idea.
Planned to release in 2024, it says. So you know what? Plucky Squire. I'm looking forward to Plucky Squire as well.
Okay, so that's 3 games now.
Yes.
Let's move on here from Hacker alias Captain Logan.
Uh-huh.
Sony is losing good faith with the PC community over the requirements for Helldivers 2. Should they backtrack this commitment to save sales? So do you know what this is about?
This okay, so apparently Helldivers 2, a game that I don't play, is CJ would care about this.
Yeah.
But I guess what is that game like funded or partially funded by Sony? Is that the case?
I don't know.
Okay. And now they're saying that you have to have a PSN account to play it.
Published by Sony Interactive Entertainment.
So Sony does have something to do with being the publisher, but they're making people have a PSN account even if you're not playing it on a PlayStation system, i.e. Steam.
I think it's interesting. Sorry.
Yes, people are upset.
So it's had an actual major impact on their review score on Steam.
Right.
I'm just looking at a rock paper shotgun article here. It says that they've received something like 100,000 negative reviews.
Oh my goodness.
Now. And actually the Arrowhead Game Studios CEO actually came out against the idea of connecting the game to, which is interesting, but I guess the game's so popular, probably has the freedom to to do that. But yeah, so interesting. I don't know. I don't know if they'll pull. I don't know if they'll have to pull back. I mean, 100,000 negative reviews is a lot, obviously.
Also, I'm seeing that apparently it's been delisted on Steam in countries where PSN is not available.
Oh, that's bad.
I'm looking at it. This is a Resetera thread.
Oh,
and there's
might be true.
And they have a big list of countries here. You know, I'm not reading these all, but just like Afghanistan, American Samoa, Aruba, Barbados,
Jamaica,
Bermuda,
Bahamas.
Come
on, pretty mama.
Yep. Key Largo,
Montego.
Is that on the list?
Baby, why don't we go?
Greenland, Fiji, Egypt,
off the Florida Keys,
Haiti. There's a whole lot of places here where this game is being. The Philippines, Puerto Rico, Antarctica.
PSN isn't in Puerto Rico?
What's that?
PSN is not in Puerto Rico?
I guess. I don't know.
Weird.
Antarctica. If you're
sorry, I shouldn't laugh.
If you're on a scientific expedition and you're living at some sort of Antarctic,
and if Helldivers is what was keeping you sane,
I have bad news, friends. But
yeah, I guess maybe they should walk it back.
It seems like a bad.
I guess move, I want to know. I want to know why. I want to hear a good reason why they're doing it.
I know, right?
Because if it's just a matter of more data collection, yeah, no thanks.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
There's a good reason, which I would struggle to even guess what a good reason would be.
Yeah,
I'm sure. Why not? Because I mean, what I was going to say is 100,000 negative reviews on Steam is bad. Don't get me wrong. But I mean, there are a lot of games that are very successful on Steam that have a lot of negative reviews, especially you read those reviews where it's like, I played this game for 300 hours and I hated it. It's like, well, you know, I don't really take your opinion too seriously. But I mean, it is a legit concern. Yes. I wouldn't want to have to do that either. Especially if I didn't have a PlayStation.
True.
So there you go. That's our answer to that. Hacker alias Kevin Klein 77 asks, in light of the limited run games controversy, what do you think is the future of video game presentation? So do you know what the controversy is on this?
I'm assuming this is about chat. I'm assuming this is about the 3DO game.
Yeah. D.
Yeah.
It's the game D.
D.
Yeah. Apparently the physical copies started going out, and I don't know if some or all of them, but
I would imagine all of them.
I imagine all of them, but people are discovering that they're just CDRs.
Yes.
The games are just on CDRs.
They're not like pressed
CDs.
They're just like burns.
Yeah. Which, I mean, you pay a premium for limited run stuff.
Absolutely.
And nowhere did they say that this was happening.
No.
And not to mention that, I mean, 3DOs can play CDRs, but not all of them can.
Yeah,
they struggle because I think they're very finicky about what CDRs they can actually read.
Right.
And some of these just aren't playable.
Right.
On certain consoles. So
there are different models of 3DO by different manufacturers.
Right.
And they are not all created equal.
And I mean, you know, they were finicky to begin with, and now, you know, those systems are 35 years old.
Right.
So, you know, they're not doing themselves any favors anyway. But yeah, so I saw this and just thought it was like, well, I mean, if I'd purchased one of these, and for as long as you wait for a game from limited run as well, I know I'd be very, very upset about this. I'm not sure what it has to do with game preservation, to be honest. I mean, I guess technically this is game preservation, but
yeah, I mean, that's kind of one of limited run's perceived
values
goals. I'm sure at some point they probably sold themselves on the idea that we're doing all this for game preservation. I don't know if that's as much their message these days,
right?
As it used to be. It might be. I don't know.
It's interesting though, because they're an Embracer Group company now, right?
Yes.
So, I
wonder. Have been for a while.
I wonder if this is something that was done without Embracer knowing, or if this will lead to more oversight by Embracer. Who knows?
Yeah.
Or maybe they don't care. I don't know. I don't have a very high opinion of Embracer either. So,
no.
But anyway, yeah. I mean, that was the controversy. I don't know what it means for the future of game preservation. I think probably the bigger impact on the future of game preservation was, I think there were hearings again this past week or two about digital libraries.
Yes.
Of games that I think were. I don't think it went anywhere.
No.
So that's a bigger issue.
Yeah, I think that's. I mean, limited run, and I've certainly had issues with them. And a lot of non-issues with them as well.
Sure.
I've certainly have purchased a lot of games from them with nary a problem, and I've had a few problems with them. So,
and I mean, I will call out too, just because I've purchased many games from them because I don't really buy physical anymore anyway. But the one or two times I had a problem with something, I got very satisfactory customer service.
Yeah.
I think Phil, you might have a bit of at least one nightmare story, but general, I've always found them easy to deal with.
Yeah.
So,
anyway. But you know what? I mean, like you said, they are a drop in the bucket.
Yeah.
With this kind of thing.
Yeah.
One admittedly crappy release from them, I don't think is going to be the make or break situation for game preservation.
Right.
Now
that I think the real concern here is, well, obviously, lying by omission. They didn't warn anyone this is what was about to happen. You make the assumption if you're buying a full physical copy of something that it's going to be a pressed disc.
And they have had issues like this.
Oh, have they?
Before
somebody mentioned something about a Game Boy cartridge or something like that.
I don't know about Game Boy. Well, you know what? I do know one of their 3DS releases.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you know what it was? It was the Atui. Is that the company? The Mighty Muds people?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. They released a collection of their 3DS games through limited run.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the games, I think it's like one of their little puzzle games, I think has a like game breaking bug in it.
Ooh.
And that's what's on the cartridge now, and you can't.
Yeah.
They can't release because the 3DS eShops closed down, so they're not going to be. You can't get a patch on that.
Right.
So that's just kind of borked forever.
That's why emulation is the answer.
And what was it? There was some I forget the game. I've just heard people complain about this online, but there was some game that was supposed to. It was like a PC game they were re-releasing, I think, and it was supposed to come on like a CD or something, and the package just ended up containing a Steam code.
Okay.
And I don't know if I don't know if you were supposed to be getting it on a CD or like on a little flash drive or something, but yeah, people opened the box and there was just a Steam code, and it's like, well, what are we doing here?
Go on Steam, obviously.
Yeah. So
make sure people were up PSN account.
Yeah. And that was certainly when they sold it, it was sold under the, where you are going to be getting a physical copy of this game.
Right.
And then at some point they apparently, I'm assuming realized that they couldn't for some reason or another, and then just gave the Steam code and didn't bother telling anyone.
Yeah, and that's the part that bothers me more than anything is like,
Right.
if that's going to be the case, then you reach out to the people who have already, because you pay for everything up front with them. You reach out to the people who've already paid and who are waiting and let them know what's happening and give them the option to cancel their orders. You get a refund.
Yeah, but then you have to give the money back.
Yeah, I know.
Who wants to do that?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, as far as the greater question of game preservation, it's limited run is not the end all be all
No.
of game preservation.
No, like I said, they're a very tiny percentage.
Right.
And that's not to discount what they're doing. It's just that I mean it's just simple numbers.
Right.
So yeah, I mean the Video Game History Foundation is more where video game preservation is happening.
Yeah.
Like the Strong Museum and stuff like that. And yeah.
Yeah. Well, like you were saying, the discussions they've been having about trying to get like a library database of that kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's more.
That's
more important to game preservation as a whole than a messed up release of a single game,
a CDR version of D on the 3D.
Yeah.
Did you see they did a video last year, and I don't know that you would have paid attention to this, but so the Video Game History Foundation has a large collection of magazines.
Yes.
Did you see what they're doing as far as making those digitally available?
I did not.
It's pretty neat. I should send the link and maybe get CJ to put the link. They did a YouTube video. Now it's not public yet, but what they're building is basically a database, a searchable database.
Oh.
With basically all this information on all these magazines that they've got. Now I doubt when they finally do launch that it'll have everything from every periodical they have, but what they did show in the demo video they released was pretty impressive. Speaking as someone who of course produces videos where I spend a lot of time trolling through game magazines and stuff like that, and having to find scans, and there are some places, there are a lot of good people doing a lot of good work when it comes to that stuff, but having these searchable as opposed to, just sort of right now, if I don't find a reference to something, to a particular review or article or interview, I'm kind of just sifting through magazines based on time frames, scans of magazines. So anyway, the stuff that they're doing, it's looking really cool. And I love that they're actually going to be making it available online as opposed to just being a library that you can visit if you happen to live in that area or if you can get to that area, right? I mean, there's a lot to be said for that as well, obviously, but making it available to people who don't have aren't in proximity or don't have the means to be in proximity is huge. So yeah, that's way more important than a CDR version of D, but I do get the concern.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
How long we've been going here? Let's do a couple more of these.
Do it.
Well, let's do one more.
Okay.
And we probably already talked about this, but I don't remember because I tune out sometimes when you and CJ talk. This is from hacker alias Vinomatic.
Rude.
I know,
First
right?
of all,
since you all seem to like Macross,
that is true. We do.
Has any of you tried Stitch, the Apple Arcade exclusive that came to Switch a couple of weeks ago? It's got a similar kind of gameplay loop, and I've been finding it very satisfying and easy to slip into.
Have you played this?
I have not.
Well,
have you?
I've got some good news.
Neither of you?
No, I actually have.
Okay.
Thank you very much. I played it on Apple Arcade.
Okay.
Because it's Apple Arcade. You get to download these games for free. And they're all ad free and all that
jazz.
Microtransaction free, all that stuff that Ethan was so keen to promote. And it's a cute little game. It does not it does not scratch the same itch for me that Picross does. But it is a cute enough little game. I did not. I was when I saw they were bringing it to Switch, I was a little tempted to get it, but I forget how much they were charging for it. It was too much for me to go like, oh, I'll pick this up. so I can play it on my Switch instead of an iPad. But when it goes on sale for Switch, I might pick it up just to have it there. But yeah, it's a cute little, again, kind of a chill, relaxing little puzzle game where you just the premise is you're looking at like a cross stitch, and you have there's like a grid with little numbers in there, and the numbers represent how many colored squares you're supposed to fill in. So if you see like a number 3, there's like, okay, there's there's do the 3 go this way, do they go this way, or do they start a little higher and stuff like that. And then you have to fill it in to make all the numbers squares fit within that grid. I'm doing a terrible job describing the gameplay mechanic. But I assure you look at it and go, okay, I understand how this works. But yes, it's a relatively simple premise. At least I've played through maybe a dozen or so puzzles in it. So I haven't gotten into anything that was been super challenging, but yeah, it's a cute little relaxing game with a very charming aesthetic. With the
kind of like
cross
Macross.
stitching.
Kind of like Macross.
It's kind of like Macross, although Macross, it's more just kind of like, you're looking at a flat grid.
Yeah, it's fair.
Of just numbers. Where this has that kind of charmy, homey aesthetic of cross stitching and stuff like that. So it's a very cute looking game. But yeah, like I said, not quite as grabbing onto my psyche that Macross has these many years. But it is definitely a cute enough game. Certainly, if you have Apple Arcade, it's worth checking out because, hey, it's free.
That's the best kind.
Yeah. But yeah, if it goes on sale for relatively cheap, I might get it on Switch as well. But yeah, it's a cute game.
All right. I think that's going to do it. I think that's the show.
Okay.
So that is our show for this week. Thank you so much for listening. If you liked what you heard. No, CJ, Phil says that part.
Yeah.
He says here, I'm never listening at this point. Please consider going to our website, player1podcast.com, or heading over to our Discord, where you can find and discuss this episode with us and our other listeners, along with other things. We got lots of different channels on our Discord. It's kind of fun. It's a cool spot.
We do.
Want to talk about Lego or racing or retro games or multiplayer games or sports, stocks. We get everything.
Thank goodness.
Our Discord's pretty awesome.
That's great.
That's it. That's all I got.
People were giving me a joystick purchasing advice on our Discord this past week.
I need a new joystick for my N64. A new controller.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I bought like one of those retro. I think it's called Retro Fighter, or I forget what it's called. But
okay.
Anyway, the up direction is not working on the analog stick.
Oh.
It's playing Harvest Moon 64 this week and couldn't go up. It was fun.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, real quick.
Props.
Because I know we're ending the show. But you were playing some Mega Man Legends.
I forgot to mention that.
Week.
Yeah.
Was this a request or something? It was a
request. Yep.
Okay.
Man, that game looks really nice. Like visually, it holds up really well.
You know what? The 2 Mega Man Legends games and Misadventures of Tron Bonne, Capcom really, I mean, those are kind of pretty low poly games.
But it works.
They're very kind of blocky looking. But Capcom's artists working with textures on that game,
yeah,
those are still good looking games.
And the game itself, I mean, we're not going to get too much into it because we're ending the show here. The game itself is good.
Yeah.
Boy, if it had a patch, that would let you use an analog controller to move Mega Man around. It's all it needs.
Yep. You definitely have to, I'll be generous and say, get used to the controls.
Yeah.
But if you can get past that,
yeah,
it's a really good game.
It's got that, I will say, like the way I was describing it, and I've got my controller right here. See, we're getting into this now.
I know.
But it's got that issue that a lot of
folks.
early, this is part of the bonus. A lot of early 3D games had.
Yeah.
Where of course, pay no attention to these analog sticks because they weren't on the controller, or you weren't using it anyway.
I think if I remember correctly, Legends may have predated the analog
I hope
controller.
It did, because if it didn't, then Capcom done messed up. But anyway, the thing I'm saying is every button on this thing is used. Yeah. Including all 4 shoulder buttons, and not in ways that a gamer in 2024 would find natural.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're constantly pressing button combos to make things happen. Oh, and yeah. I was getting better at it. I played it for about 90 minutes and I was getting better at it by the end, but all I could really think was, man, if I could just, wiggle this left analog stick,
yep,
and Mega Man will go where I wanted him to, the game would be so much more playable.
If Wikipedia is correct,
and when isn't it?
I mean, you're right. The first DualShock was released in Japan on November 20th, 1997. Yeah. Almost to the day, a month before Legends came out in Japan.
Okay, so it was close enough to the release that it's not weird that they didn't have it.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you can deal with the controls on it, it's a fun game. And Legends 2 is a fair bit better.
Lots of Canadian voice actors as well.
Oh, is that right?
It really sounds like it. I mean, there's I don't know, like old anime always makes
oh yeah,
sounds like this to me too. I think they just use a lot of Canadian voice acting studios.
Yeah.
And it's just like, to me, the one is always that I remember when I was a kid is watching Astro Boy. Mm-hmm. So I'm pretty sure it was a Canadian studio that dubbed Astro Boy. And Mega Man Legends has that same sound to it. The actors just, they sound Canadian.
Yeah.
It's the only way I can describe it. Anyway, let's continue our outro.
Okay. Are you done with your bit?
Yeah, I think so.
If you'd like to subscribe to the Player One Podcast, you can do so by visiting player1podcast.com or by loading up your favorite podcast listening app. We're also on what are we on? So we're on Spotify. You can like us on Facebook. You can watch video archives of our show on the youtubes.com/P1 podcast, or you can watch us live most weeks. Typically, we record on Sunday evenings at 5:30 specific time. So join us, won't you? Follow our many social media accounts to find out when we are doing an actual live show. But typically, it's right around now. Tell you what, if you like what you've heard, and how could you? You can head over to patreon.com/P1 podcast. Throw a few shekels our way. Someone has to pay for all these vacations CJ is taking at the last minute without warning.
Mm-hmm.
So it might as well be you. That's not true. CJ does not steal from our coffers.
That we know of.
Your Patreon funds do, of course, go to help fund our show and keep us streaming and all that stuff that, again, CJ worries about. But I'm not checking the books. Mm-hmm. Are you checking the books, Greg?
Mm-mm.
I don't even know if there are books.
Yeah, I don't think
in today's modern workaday world.
Yeah,
but with these spreadsheets and AI-driven algorithms, I don't know. I don't know how this works. Anyway, if you're a Patreon supporter of the $5 tier,
cheap,
you gain access to a special weekly bonus episode. We record it right after this. We play games, crack wise. having fun doing all the stuff we can't do on the regular show. CJ!
Yes.
You sound a lot more handsome this week, CJ.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have a game this week. I know that a fact. CJ warned us about that. We have no game. So Greg tells me.
Yep.
Before we started the show, Greg told me he had plans that he will not reveal to me. So I don't know what is in store. And you don't either. But there's only one way to find out, and that's to give us $5. Or I guess you can wait like 2 years and CJ will put that episode up on our
also true
retro after show stream that he puts up or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, tune in for that, folks. And I'll tell you what, if you have a couple extra bucks left over, why don't you go to patreon.com/Greg Seward and help support Greg's outstanding. And it is outstanding and endorsed by Sega itself.
Right?
Web series. I'm not making that up.
Endorsed by Sega itself. They retweeted it.
Well, they in trouble. It was your Gain Ground episode?
Yeah.
Sega official Twitter account retweeted your latest episode.
Yep. It's pretty exciting.
As well it should be. Go watch Generation 16 is what I'm talking about.
Somebody at Sega does.
Seriously.
Yeah, and thank you, Phil. And if you are a Patreon supporter of the $5 variety,
that is also cheap.
Good evening, Satan.
Good evening to you. How are you today?
You know what? I'm pretty good, but I really wish CJ had warned us that he wasn't going to be here.
Well, you know, he likes playing devilish tricks as well.
And you know what? We're lying. CJ did warn us he wasn't going to be here this week.
He did.
Yeah.
He did.
We just like making fun of him when he's not here.
Oh, we do.
And when he is here, actually. So anyway, you get access to you, yeah.
Okay,
I don't know. I didn't see you on the $5 tier when I checked it today, though. But it could be one of your many aliases.
Well, you know what it is. I steal links from nefarious sites to get in and watch your videos without paying.
Okay.
Because I'm the devil.
Yeah, I know. I would expect nothing less.
And that's a dishonest thing to do.
Right. Why would I expect you to change your ways?
I'm the Prince of Lies.
Maybe you're lying right now.
Which of course means that I do give you $5 every month. Because I support independent creators.
Right.
I'm the devil, not an asshole.
You get access to the Weekly Commute, which is a vlog series where I post mostly every week. Not always. Sometimes it's a little late. Sometimes it's twice a week. Where I talk about what I've been working on, mainly. Also, just really anything that crosses my my addled mind in that moment. But also, if you were a supporter of the $5 or even $3 variety,
well, that's even cheaper.
Even cheaper, you would already have access to my latest video, which is all about the Super Nintendo.
When did that go up?
Saturday. This past Saturday. Yesterday.
Did I get an email about that?
You should have, because I know you are an early access.
I absolutely
patron.
am.
Yeah.
Well, I'll have to go back. I may have skipped past that, but I do need to go watch that video now.
All right.
Okay.
Anyway, thank you so much if you're a supporter. And if you're not, please consider being a supporter.
You should. You really should. Is that it?
I think that's it.
Gregory.
Yo.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you, Philip.
CJ, I hope you're having fun doing whatever it is you're doing.
Do it in whatever it is you do.
And of course, a big old thank you to you, our wonderful, wonderful listeners, every single darn one of you. As always, please take care of yourself, your loved ones, your family, your friends. Do what you got to do to be safe. Be kind to others. Be kind to yourself. And we hope to see you next week, dear friends. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.